Exception handling is our topic today, right? All of you. It's a most important thing. I'll make you as most wonderful in this area. Exception handling. Now, this is what we are going to discuss. Exception handling is the next topic we are going to start. So 6 o'clock related class link you can get from the office. So 6 o'clock link you can get from the office. From the office people you contact, they will give you the 6 o'clock link. Anybody is having that doubts to rejoin again. Okay, right. So next topic, which is a very important topic, which is a very important topic, and it is including our case study discussion. It will take 4 days, 5 days maximum. It will take 5 days of time. Yeah, even I'll tell you a small project in this class regarding this exception handling. Okay, dear students, let me start the discussion of exception handling. Okay, so let us move to the topic name called exception handling. So let me talk about the index. Dear students, carefully try to listen, ma. Carefully try to listen. So still people are going on joining. Yeah, still 10 more people are supposed to join. Okay, ma. Please let us look into the index. First, I will write the index. So that meantime they will be joining with that. So first, what is the purpose? What is the purpose of exception handling? So this is a very important and very difficult also for the people to understand. Most of the people will feel that it's very difficult. Yes, really they will feel that it is a difficult, but I'll explain like anything for you. Purpose of exception handling, I will explain. In this class itself, you will understand purpose of exception handling. We will understand. Next, we will understand what is meant by exception, what is meant by exception, what is meant by exception handling. Dear student, what is meant by exception and what is meant by exception handling? What is meant by exception? What is meant by exception handling? We are going to learn it. Purpose of exception handling. What is meant by exception? What is meant by exception handling? Next, we are entering into types of errors. Types of errors. Types of errors. Types of errors. There in that we are going to discuss about. There we are going to discuss about compile time errors. Compile time errors. Very important discussion. Compile time errors. Next, B is called logical errors. Logical errors. Generally, errors means people will say only two types of errors: compile time errors and compile time errors and runtime errors. They will say, but we are going to get what logical errors also will be there. Next is called runtime errors. Runtime errors. These are the very important. These are very important. Very important concept. This is the total industry is running behind of these runtime errors. What exactly meaning of it? We are going to discuss. Next, we are understanding about syntax for handling the exceptions. Syntax for handling the exceptions. Syntax for handling the exceptions. Next, we are talking about keywords used in handling exceptions. Keywords used in handling exceptions. What are those keywords we are using? Try we are using, B we are using except, next C we are using else, and next we are using finally, next we are using rise. Now followed by ATM application I will develop it. ATM application related coding I will explain. So at this point of time, whatever the example you are able to do it, we are going to discuss this concept. So this is about the total index of our exception handling concept. So this will be taking lot of discussion in the classroom. So this is our agenda of our today's class. agenda of our entire exception handling. Let us enter into the exception handling now. Dear student, now I'm going to start about the topic now. Very, very simple. In real time, try to understand very carefully, but listen very carefully, ma. Very carefully. Even I'm explaining first 2 days with a little slow. I will explain. Slow in the sense where you can receive me clearly. Okay, fine. In real time, once again I am telling guys, carefully listen it, because it is a little difficult for the people to feel it. And at the end of the day, after 4 days are over, you will be saying that you are most perfect in exception handling. There is no doubt in that. That word you keep it perfect. All the topics which are over so far, you are perfect in that. I hope that you are perfect in that. Whatever the topics which we completed so far. Okay? Yes or not? Yes or not, ma? Whatever we discussed so far, are you perfect or not? Yeah, it's perfect. It's perfect. Yes. In real time, dear students, let me talk about it. In real time, to develop, SEMA, to develop any real-time project, any real-time project, any real-time project, we need to choose, we need to choose, we need to choose a language, we need to choose a language, or we need to choose a technology. We need to choose a language, or we need to choose a technology. In real time, to develop any real-time project, we need to choose a language or technology. Good. With the language, dear students, look at ma. With the language, yeah, yes. Very good, ma. Satyam Sharma, congratulations to you, ma. Look at. With the language, we can develop, look at ma, we can develop programs. We can develop various programs. We can compile and execute those programs. Carefully listen it, because this is one of the difficult concept every language will contain. Because this will be there in Java, this will be there in .NET, this will be there in Python. In everywhere else, this topic is available except the C language. In majority of the languages, this is available nowadays. Because in real time, exception handling is very, very important. That's why we are going to discuss in detail. You need to have this knowledge like anything, right? We can develop programs. We can compile those programs and execute those programs. During this process, dear students, I'm saying that during this process, we get three types of errors. We get three types of errors. Which process? During development time, during compilation time, during execution of these programs, we get three types of errors. During this process, we get three types of errors. They are, now we are saying that what is that one? Compile time errors. Compile time errors. I will explain what is compile time errors. Nothing to worry. I will explain in detail about it. Compile time errors. We'll explain that. B is called, generally people will say runtime errors, but that is our academic courses, academic things. But I will go for in detail what is happening in real time. Look at that. Durga Prasad, you will come across ma. Listen it. Next is called logical errors. And the next is called runtime errors. Right. Now coming to the point of it, any type of application you people will develop it, you will be getting different type of errors. Those errors are going to be called as compile time errors, logical errors, runtime errors. Dear students, I want to tell you what is compile time error, what is logical error, what is runtime error. so that I will be giving the clarity for you first of all. Right. One more thing today you need to understand is, okay, let me talk about the compile time error. I will explain. I will talk about the compile time error first for you. So first I am going to talk about compile time error. See that one, compile time error. See, I am writing any type of syntaxes. If you don't follow any type of syntaxes which you don't follow, that time we call it as compile time errors. Example I will write these errors. First concept, let me cover it. These errors occurs during compilation time. During what time? Compilation time. Can you tell me Python is a compiler language or interpreter language? Python, when we execute the Python program, dear students, whether you remembered or not, in the beginning days, whether you remembered or not, Python is one of the interpreted based programming language. Yes. In that interpretation, if you remember it very carefully, in the interpretation, I told you, is it compiled or not? Yes, sir. Very good. How it is compiling, ma? It is compiling line by line. Very good. Kaushal Tata. Very good, ma. Line by line. Jyotirmayi. Yes. Line by line it is compiling. That means .py converted into what? .py converted into what? Come on, ma. .pyc. Excellent. .pyc. .py contains what code? .py contains what code? Kaushal Tata. Slow, ma. No hurry. You know that, na? .py contains what? Source code. Excellent. Source code. .pyc contains what? .pyc contains what? .pyc. Byte code will be there. Very good. So who is going to do this? Python compiler converts our source code into byte code. Who will read the byte code? This is known as a compilation process. Excellent. Who will read the byte code? PVM. Really very much thankful to you, ma'am. You are remembering like anything, all the topics. Super. So your PVM will read the byte code and convert it into the native understanding format of OS. So these errors occurring during compilation time. Why these are coming? Due to these errors occurs during compilation time. Next line I am writing. These errors are occurring during compilation time. Why these errors are occurring? I write these errors occurs due to syntaxes not followed. Syntaxes not followed. Directly I can write not followed. Syntaxes not followed. These errors occurs due to syntaxes not followed. I will write due to syntaxes are not followed. Yes. Fine. So maybe indentation you did not follow. You will not follow that kind of thing. Right. Look at ma. There is no hurry at all. Understand very perfectly. Right. So next tell me, who will solve these errors, ma? Who will solve these errors? Quickly I want the answer. Yes, excellent. Programmer only will solve it. Because programmer, not user. You means what? You are the developer programmer you are. So these errors, I am writing these errors solved by, I am writing here, solved by whom? Programmers. That means programmers. During at which level? Development level. Dear student, development level is a very important terminology. Development level. There are two things are there, ma. One is a development level, one more is an implementation level. One is a development level, one more is an implementation level. Two levels are there, dear students. One is a development level, one more is a implementation level. I will talk about the implementation level, nothing to worry at this moment of time. For my satisfaction, development level means what? When you are in the company, when you are getting some type of errors, those errors during your code development only, you are getting the errors. That errors will be solved by yourself only. We call it as a compile time errors. That we are perfect. And these are very simple. Without completing compile time errors, we cannot move forward at all. We cannot move forward at all. That's why compile time errors are very important to solve it. Okay, sir, we understand the compile time errors, sir. Runtime logical errors, sir. Logical errors I want to take it, sir. Logical errors I want to go for it. See that logical errors, sir. Now I am taking logical errors. See, dear students, logical errors. Logical errors. What is that logical errors, sir? Take one small paintbrush here. Take one small paintbrush. Here I am taking A is equal to Sima. A is equal to 10 and B is equal to 3. I am saying B is equal to 3. I am saying. Now all of a sudden somebody is asking calculate a plus b by 2. They are asking a plus b by 2. They are asking. This is the by 2 they are asking. A plus b by 2 they are asking. Yes, a plus b by 2. This is a mathematics equation amount. This is a mathematics equation. So this equation people can write in two ways. This is a mathematics logic actually. This is a mathematics logic. Please carefully follow. Following the Badmash rule carefully and then preparing the logic and then writing whatever we like it, that is another logic. So number one logic, what somebody will follow. A bracket of A plus B. This is called one logic. By 2. This is called one logic. That means adding the value called 10 plus 2, 10 plus 3, that is called 13 by 2, which is equal to, you are getting 6.5. You are getting. Somebody else will write what you know, A plus B by 2. Directly they will write like this. How this is taken internally? 10 plus 3 by 2 they will take it. What it means? 10 plus 3 by 2 will be taken. 3 by 2 will be done first. In this case, what will be happening? First, slash will have the more priority, guys. Slash will have the more priority. 10 plus 1.5 will be taken. 1.5 will be taken. It is becoming 11.5. Now, which answer is the correct? Which answer is the correct? You tell me. Which answer is the correct? First one is the correct answer. This is called correct answer. This is called correct answer because you are following the Badmash rule carefully. The meaning is A plus B you do first, later by 2 you say. Later by 2 you say. Dear students, here this is called correct answer. This is called incorrect answer. This is called wrong answer. Why this wrong answer is coming? Because we did not follow the proper logic. Improper logic we are following. Wrong result is coming. Wrong result. Definitely wrong result will come. We feel that it is a correct result for you. But a person who knows the formulas and all, if they know the correct formulas, if any person will see, that person will feel definitely your result is wrong. Why this result, wrong result is coming? Because of wrong logic we follow. Wrong logic is also called as what? Misinterpretation of the logic, dear students. Misinterpretation of the logic. Misinterpretation of logic will be taking place. Wrong representation of logic will be taking place. Because of wrong representation of logic or misinterpretation of the logic, this problem will be taking place. So, coming out of that, wrong result or wrong misinterpretation of the logic is taking place. To overcome this type of thing, we must write the correct logics. We must follow the correct logics. So ultimately, this is called one type of logical error. This is called one type of logical error. So misinterpretation of the logics, wrong representation of the logics is always considered as what? Logical errors. So now I am going to write it. Now I am going to write it. These errors, now I am writing, carefully follow. These errors occurs during execution time. During what time? Execution time. These are occurring during execution time, dear students. Execution time. And why these problems are coming? These errors occurs due to, which I told you just now. These errors occurs due to wrong representation or misinterpretation of the logic. Wrong representation of logic or misinterpretation of the logic. Wrong representation, I can also write it as misinterpretation of the logic. Misinterpretation of the logic. And we get because of this, what results will get it? Wrong results will come. We feel that it is a correct, but when you go to the testing team people will feel that the testing team people will definitely will intimate you the results are wrong. Tell me, for my satisfaction, these errors occurs due to wrong representation or misinterpretation of logic, and we get the wrong results. So who will solve these errors? Who will correct the errors? Test engineers will find out that results are wrong. They will send you back the code saying that the test case is fail. Test case fail means what is our indirect and blind rule? Logic is wrong. Who will solve that errors, ma'am? Same thing. These errors solved by programmers itself. You people will solve this. At which level? Development level only. You will not release the project. You will not release your real-time project with errors. You will not release your errors. You will not release your programs, or you will not release any program with logical errors. So once you put a stamp OK on the project, that indicates everything is perfect. Now, I hope so. Compile time error is clear for you. Logical errors are clear for you. Compile time errors occurring due to what? Syntax is not followed. Logical errors are following because of what? Wrong representation of the logic. Right. Dear students, up to here is it clear for you? Up to here it is clear for you. Now I am talking about, all of you confirm once. Up to that is it clear for you? Now I am talking about most wonderful logic, most wonderful errors. This is what we are very much interested in our class. Now I am talking about runtime errors. Come on, why compile time errors are occurring? Because of syntaxes are not followed. Why logical errors are coming? Because of what? Wrong representation of logic. Now, if you understand me carefully, runtime errors are occurring. This is a very, very important. Runtime errors are occurring during execution time only. Now I am giving the clarity. Execution time. Yes. Next, can anybody say? See, these errors are occurring because of syntax is not followed. Logical errors are occurring because of wrong representation of results, wrong representation of your logic. Runtime errors are occurring because of what? Come on, anybody else? Not having patches. What is that? Okay. Okay. Fine, ma. Subhasis. Very good, ma. So, if we carefully remember it, in our beginning days, Python is one of the robust programming language. Have you heard about it? No? Simanchal, good, ma. So, yeah, yes. So, if you remember, Python is one of the robust programming language. See, lot of people are not aware of it, why runtime errors are occurring. Now I am writing, these errors are occurring. I will give you some small clarity to you. Let me complete it. These errors are occurring due to 1 minute. Just you today onwards, you just be careful. These errors are occurring due to wrong input. Wrong input. See that wrong input entered by application user. Very, very important word I am writing. Wrong input entered by application user. Wrong input entered by application user, oblique, end user, end user. How much important this word I cannot imagine. Take one example directly. Take one example directly. What is that example? See, sir, I will go to ATM application. This is a very, very important discussion I am doing. You are entering into ATM center. ATM center you are entering. Yes, already ATM center application is ready. Application is ready. Is it under execution or not? Is it under execution or not? Come on. Is it under execution? 24/7 the application is under running only. It is under running. It is under running. It is running. It is running. So it was installed by the company people. It is installed by the company people in their corresponding ATMs. That means it is used by us. It is under running, which is used by what? We people. We means what? Users. We are all called application users. Application it is under running. It is used by all the public, all the people. All the people. So those who do not understand the application user and all, used by the people. These are called what? Used by all the people. These are called what? Application users we can call. Some people also call it as what? End user we can call. End user. These people will do what? Used by all people. Used by all the people. That is known as what? Application user we can call, or end user we can call. Dear students, when we enter into the ATM center to use this ATM application, we may keep the card. We will take the card. We took the card. We took a card from our packet. Then that card, see how many directions we are thinking. This is what you need to habituate. I will use one word in the class. See, you will use the card, insert the card properly, and insert the card improperly. Insert the card improperly. Take care carefully. So we took a card, we insert the card properly. When we insert the card properly, processed it, we get the result of it. Properly you are inserting the data. Properly inserting the card, we got the result. Because these are very, very important. Next, improper insertion. Improper insertion. What will be coming to you? You will be getting one message from the system. One message from ATM machine. One message will come from ATM machine. This is a word, excellent word I am talking about. What is that message? Please remove the card and insert properly. So you will get a message. What is the message? Please remove the card. Some message will come. Remove the card. Right? Please remove the card and insert properly. Insert properly. Please insert the card. Please remove the card and insert properly. This message is called, first time I am introducing one word for you. This message, what is the message which you are getting from this, is known as what you know? User friendly First time I am giving this message for you. User friendly error message. That means user friendly error message. Why? Because this message, even a layman can understand. Even a layman can understand. This message is known as what? User friendly error message. That means the ATM application developer, has written the code internally in such a way that when the end user took a card, he may insert the card properly. That means a valid input he may enter. He may enter valid input. He may enter valid input. Listen carefully. He may enter valid input. He may enter valid input. He may enter invalid input also. He may enter invalid input also. From now onwards, we are talking about a very important discussion in the class. Valid input, if few people enter, we will get the valid output. Valid output. Yes. Next is called what? Invalid input is entering. Na? Whenever you are entering the invalid input, this invalid input already they thought of it. See, when the ATM application is developing, the software engineers always will have, you people need to have always forecasting knowledge. Forecasting knowledge. I am using the first time this word. Forecasting knowledge. Forecasting knowledge you are using. What is forecasting knowledge? You are thinking, if I develop the project today, tomorrow if I release my project tomorrow to the normal public, what type of values they will enter? Today only we are thinking. We call it as a forecasting knowledge. Today we call it as a forecasting knowledge. Yes. So, yes. Now, finally, I am trying to say all the SEs must have what knowledge? Forecasting knowledge. First of all, is my wording is clear? First of all, you confirm it. Are you understanding the word called forecasting? Weather forecasting. Now, thinking about in the future, what type of data will be coming. Right, ma? Everybody should confirm it. Forecasting knowledge. So, all the software engineers will be having forecasting knowledge. Sir, how can we get forecasting knowledge? With our TLs, with their guidelines, we will be getting as a fresher level person. You will understand your TLs, PLs date knowledge, and you will get once 2 years or 1.5 years is over, you will get your forecasting knowledge. You will also think like them. Come on, start the point. Once the card is taken, the valid input is what? Card is inserted properly. Process it and give it. Invalid insertion, you are giving immediately this message. Please remove the card and insert properly. So this type of code was internally written by what? SEs. With what knowledge? Forecasting knowledge. Dear students, this word is very, very important. So how can they give this message without thinking forecasting knowledge? So forecasting knowledge is very, very important. Simple, ma. Whenever you write any program, that program input you are taking from the end user. That end user receives valid input. He will get the valid output. If they enter wrong input, they must get what message? Everybody. When they enter wrong inputs, they enter. What message you need to give it? What message? Everybody must interact with me. When they enter wrong input to your application, then you need to give which message? User-friendly error message, which is not making your application as robust. Robust means what, ma? Strong. Which is making your application as robust. Robust means what? Strong. Tell me, in real time, you take it as Google, you take it. Username, password you are entering. Wrong password you are entering. Immediately it is asking you, please enter the correct username. Something you are entering wrong. It is asking you to enter properly. These are all called which messages, ma? Which messages they are all called, ma? User-friendly error messages. To make our application as more user-friendly error message, our application is more strongest application. Dear students, now coming to these points now. Now coming to these points. By default, see ma, by default, when the by default, this word is important ma, but this important. When the application user, when the application user enters enters wrong input or invalid input, invalid input. By default, remember this word, by default. When the application user enters wrong input or invalid input, we get, we get, we get, by default, we get technical error messages, technical error messages. These are the, how much important this word I cannot imagine. By default, we get technical error messages. Whether you take C++, Java, .NET, Oracle, Python, any language you take it, guys. Whenever you enter wrong input or invalid input, by default, that language will give you which message? Technical error messages will give you. These technical error messages, understandable by whom? Tell me, understandable by whom? Understandable by whom? Excellent. Programmers. Users will not understand. Technical error messages, who will understand? Users, huh? Technical error messages, understandable by. If you don't understand my English, it's a problem, mama. Understandable by programmers. That means you people can understand. Programmers only can understand. Programmers only can understand. Understandable by programmers. Understandable by programmers. Now I am saying that understandable by programmers, but not by, but not by, but not by, who will not understand? Application users. Application users. Not by but not by, but not by application user. That time you tell me, is it up? Is that application is a robust or weak? Is that application is robust or weak? Is it weak or robust, ma? It is a weak. It is a weak application. That's why we need to convert. We need to convert which messages? Which messages? What you will do? You tell me. What you will do? You tell me. As a software engineer, now you see. As a software engineer, what is your role? As a software engineer, you are converting. You are converting. You are converting which messages? Technical error messages into see how beautiful it is, into user friendly error messages. Sir, how to convert it? For that one programming is required. User friendly error messages by making use of what? Exception handling. By making use of exception handling. Excellent point. So people will ask you tomorrow, what is the purpose of exception handling? What is the purpose of exception handling? Dear students, please tell me, are you understanding exception handling? The aim of exception handling is that converting technical error messages into user-friendly error messages. Best example is any type of website you take it, any type of financial applications you take it, any type of ATM applications you take it, any type of e-commerce applications you take it, making our program to be robust is compulsory. Behind the program robust, which concept is important? Exception handling concept is compulsory. Converting the technical error messages into user-friendly error messages is known as what? Exception handling. So C++ exception handling, you take it. Java exception handling, you take it. Oracle exception handling, you take it. Python exception handling, you take it. So people will ask you tomorrow, what is the purpose of exception handling? The purpose of exception handling is to develop what? Robusted applications, strong applications. Dear student, if you carefully follow me, you understand the definition of exception handling. So let me go to my discussion here. I write one topmost point here. The aim of the aim of the aim of which one exception handling is that the aim of exception handling is that to develop which applications, robust applications. Robust is nothing but what? Strong applications. Robust is nothing but what? Strong applications. Strong applications. Right, done. Now coming back to the further, dear students, we understood. Now I am talking about one more word I want to add to my existing definition. See, runtime errors we are calling it is a purely normal English. That runtime errors, now you answer my question. Why runtime errors are coming? Why runtime errors are coming? Runtime errors are coming because of invalid input entered by the end user. And runtime errors, runtime errors, runtime errors, runtime errors solved by whom? Programmers. Programmers at which level? At the implementation level. Implementation level, dear students. Implementation level. Sir, what is the word called implementation level? What is the word called implementation level? Implementation level means an application being used by the people. An application being used by the people is called implementation. Bring into an action format. Bring into an action format. Bring into the working environment is called implementation level. You developed one model of the bike you are using on the road. That is called you are implementing your bike. And you are coming across what are the problems during your usage. That is known as implementation level. That's why all our real-time projects, version by version, the project becoming very, very strong. Very, very strong. Runtime errors solved by programmers. At which level? Implementation level. Dear students, now I am going to write some beautiful points I will prepare. Points to be remembered. Points to be remembered. And other points to be forgettable, no? Points to be remembered. Remembered. Points to be remembered. Now I am writing. What are the points to be remembered, sir? When do you get runtime errors? See, compile time errors and all those things are because of you they are occurring. Because of you they are occurring. These are occurring because of what? Runtime errors are occurring because of what? Because of whom these problems are occurring? End user. To address the end user problem, what knowledge you must be having? You must have which type of knowledge? You must have which type of knowledge? Forecasting knowledge is required. Forecasting knowledge is required. That means you are thinking, okay, if I develop this application, what value C will enter in the after 6 months? That type of knowledge you are thinking. With that knowledge, you are using exception handling and you are converting the technical error messages into user-friendly error message. I hope that you are getting my point. I hope that you are getting my point. Predictions, yes. Predictions, yes. So simple, mom. Tomorrow you want to leave, you want to go out of it. Something like what? Cloudy. It's a cloudy. So your parents will they will predict some rain may be coming. You take umbrella. That umbrella will provide you user-friendly message. You will not be wet. You will not be getting wet. So you will be having some type of safe. So that means whenever anything happens wrong, reasons you are going to get it. So first point I am writing related to the points to be remembered. So now I am writing when the application user, this is a very, very important point throughout my entire course of exception handling. This is very, very important. When the application user enters what input? Invalid input, oblique what? Wrong input. When the application user enters invalid oblique wrong input, then we get runtime errors. Then we get what? Runtime errors. When the application user enters invalid or wrong input, then we get runtime errors. So now I am asking a question. When do you get runtime errors? All of you. Come on, fast. Kishore, right, ma, exactly. Tell me, ma, all of you, when do you get runtime errors? When the user enters invalid input. Let me ask the reverse question. Reverse question, let me ask. What happens when I enter invalid input? Which errors will come when I enter invalid input? Which errors I will get invalid input? Which errors I will get invalid input? You will get runtime errors. Fine. So invalid inputs gives, now I'm writing, dear students, invalid input, I'm writing some equation format because you should not get doubt about it. In any kind of context, you need to come out of it. Invalid input gives you, invalid input gives you, what is that? Runtime errors. Runtime errors, dear student. Look at that. Please clearly try to follow. What I am explaining, you clearly follow. Right? Don't go your own order. You follow me, you will get the correct path of understanding. Next I am going for, when the, if you think in your own direction, you cannot understand what I am explaining. Konda Spurti. You please follow me, ma. You please follow me. So what you are following is something different. You follow me to get the correct knowledge. It's up to you. Okay? Right. So when the application user enters wrong input or any invalid input, we will get the runtime error. Now I am talking all runtime errors, all runtime errors, all runtime errors, all runtime errors are called, all runtime errors are called exceptions. I am using the perfect terminology like anything. If we go in your own direction, we will be like that only. We will not get any perfection, right? All runtime errors are called exceptions. So what is the definition of exception? Only answer my question. Be careful. Forget about any other language you are learning. You forget about it. What is the definition of exception? Tell me first. What is the definition of exception? I told you already clearly. Runtime errors are called exception. In the bracket, I will write invalid input. Invalid input gives you runtime errors. Runtime errors. Runtime errors are called what? Exceptions. Runtime errors are called exceptions. Whatever order I am following, you follow that to see the colorful life. Yes. Invalid input is called what? Invalid input is called a runtime error. Runtime errors are called what? Exceptions. Hence, all invalid inputs gives dash. All invalid inputs gives dash. If you give the correct answer, I will appreciate you. Exceptions. See, very clear. Very clear. Invalid input A tends to B. B tends to C. Obviously, A tends to C. So, hence, in the bracket I will write, hence, hence, all the exceptions gives, here only I will mention that point, all the invalid inputs, all the invalid inputs gives, all the invalid inputs gives, what? Exceptions. Now tell me, if you really follow me, by default exceptions will give which message? Exception is different, exception handling is different. Keep my words in mind. Exceptions are different, exception handling is different. Yes. All exceptions gives by default, what messages? System or technical error message. By default gives technical error messages. By default gives what messages? All exceptions by default gives technical error messages. So This is a very, very important. Am I clear about this point, sir? First of all, am I going in your understandable format? First one is clear. Second, first, third, all these things going clear. Come on, everybody. Yes. Now, let me test it once. Let me test it once. What is that meaning? When do you get exception? When do you get exception? Straightforward, I am asking. When do you get exception? Very good. Invalid input. Invalid input. I told you already. When do you get exception? When the invalid input is entered. Simple ma. When the valid input is entered, process and gives result. When the invalid input is coming, exception will come. Exceptions by default gives which messages? Exceptions gives by default which messages? Technical error messages. Which are understandable by whom? Which are understandable by whom? Programmers. Programmers. But not by whom? But not by whom? Users. So what you do? What you do then? Industry recommended to give which messages? Industry recommended to give which messages? User-friendly error messages. So you will use which concept, ma? You will use which concept? Exception handling you will use, not exceptions. Exception handling. Exception handling. See the word itself. Handling. What? Exceptions. Exceptions gives what message? Technical error message. Handling. The name itself says. There I am writing. The process of converting. Here I am writing. The process of converting. The process of converting. What? System. The process of converting technical error messages. Technical error messages into what? User friendly error messages. Error messages. Error messages. Error messages is called exception handling. See how beautiful concept it is. What is the definition of exception? What is the definition of exception handling? The process of converting technical error messages into user-friendly error messages is called exception handling. So, do you feel that exception and exception handling are they same or different? Do you feel that exception and exception handling are the same or different? Sir, they are different. Very good. Very good. No problem. So, simple. All wrong inputs. Now I am asking final question. Now tell me, all the wrong inputs entered by application user are called a dash. Excellent. Exceptions. Everybody is giving exceptions. Very nice, ma. Exceptions gives by default which messages? Exceptions by default gives which messages? Technical error messages. Who will not understand? Who will not understand? Users cannot understand. That's why what you do. That's why what you will do. That's why what we will do. We will learn which programming. Exception handling we will learn. With that we are converting into what? With that we are converting into what? User-friendly error messages. User-friendly error messages. Ultimately, you understood my discussion. I think so today. I think so today. First point is, what is this error? What are the runtime errors are called? What is exception is called? What is exception handling is called? Dear students, this is called 4 points I prepared. 5th point I will prepare tomorrow. Today is enough because I will take 1 hour. It is enough because yes. Is it understandable today? Is it understandable today? You are coming to one conclusion today. Tomorrow we will get more powerful knowledge you will get it. More powerful knowledge you will get it. That is another points I will prepare tomorrow class. Nothing to worry at this moment. So even I want to take slowly, I want to increase the speed of the subject with our perfect understanding. Yes. Still, yes, ma, Praveen Kumar. Tomorrow and day after tomorrow, you see, you will become really wonderful. You will really wonderful with a God grace, with my students' grace. So if I come, I'm 75% okay, even from morning to evening. 75% I'm much clear. And tomorrow's class, with God grace, I'll be coming to my original form and I will give the full length, full strength explanation. I will go for it. Yeah, these notes I will give you in tomorrow's class. In tomorrow's class, I will upload the notes. Nothing to worry, ma. Today you don't worry. Tomorrow's class I will give you. If you want, you take the screenshot. You take the screenshot. Today I don't upload in the class because incomplete things. If I upload now, you will get problem. You will get problem. So please take the screenshot. All of you. Now I am saying the screenshot. You take it up to line number 21. 21. Now I am coming down. Yeah. First, let me complete the document. Right. Over. Now line number 22 onwards you take. Line number 22 onwards you take. 22, 23 onwards you take it. Yes. Now I will open the paint screen also. And you don't need not to write in the notes also. Anyhow, you will be getting the same thing. Because incomplete thing I don't want to. After finishing tomorrow this part of it, these points, I will give you the uploading the things. Right. I will open the screenshot of it. Screenshot of paintbrush. You can take this part. We are having this part, you take it. This is called one more kind of thing. This is wrong input. This is called mismatching, all these things. Yeah, that is nothing is there in this. Take the screenshot. And here, something is there. Forecasting knowledge, all these things. This also you try to have some small screenshot for your understanding purpose. Yes, done. So anyhow, we will stop at this level and don't feel that sorry stopping. So because slowly we will come out of it and don't feel that. Yeah, yes, yes, ma. Sri Lakshmi, I will do it, ma. I will do it fast. I will do it. Don't mind, please. Don't mind. I will do it. Yes, yeah, exactly. Fine. So tomorrow's class we will, as usual, continue the full length class. I will go for completing it. Okay, don't worry. So yes, index page also is there. Index page is also there.